And now I see someone stretching and prepping in the back. So I'm super happy to present to you the next speaker. It's Gustav Molnar. He's an entrepreneur, he's a leadership coach, he's a consultant, and he has a mission. He has a mission to empower people to work smarter, I love that, and to thrive in the modern workplace. So in this session, he will reveal and take notes, take pictures. He will reveal 5 powerful keys to leading a successful AI transformation. Huge welcome, and the stage is yours, Gustav.
Thank you.
I need to do this.
Yes. And down low.
Oh.
There you go. Thank you. So, hello everyone. How are you? How's the energy level? Online as well, I hope. Yeah, I need to step here. Thanks. I actually dedicated the vast majority of my career helping organizations to work smarter by enabling the digital employee experience and rethinking the way that we work. But I want to start with a confession. And this might disappoint you. It might even shatter your expectations a little bit. But I decided not to talk about how to lead an AI implementation. For very good reasons, my friends. Because from my experience, the organizations that really thrive in this modern work life, or call it the era of AI if you want to, they have another take on it. Of course, they see that, AI is a huge enabler. It's a catalyst for something greater. And that's the thing. It's a catalyst for something greater. But it's really about reimagining how we work, how we operate as an organization, and how we deliver value to our clients and customers. So I think it's more about this. And this quote is really at the heart of what I believe, that please don't make the same mistakes as we've done so many times to talk about leading an AI implementation. You want to lead a human transformation powered by AI. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not, of course, you have to have a robust AI strategy. But as a leader, you have to think about how to develop an entire workforce to be capable of partnering up and collaborate with AI on an everyday basis. And that will be about rethinking how work gets done and how we as humans actually grow in a world where intelligence is not just uniquely ours anymore. So given that, I want to give you 5 keys then to talk about how to lead such a transformation that is powered by AI. This will not be a technical playbook, but this is my experience actually from organizations that really thrive when it comes to transform in this new age. And one thing that is really important is that, yes, it's a lot about humans, but it's also then about understanding, like having the AI literacy and understanding. I'm really happy to hear that, like, what was it, 3 out of 4 knowledge workers, they use AI to some extent in their daily work. But from my experience, a lot of people, they have fear. And maybe it's not the future that they're afraid of. They're afraid of losing the present, of the things that they're actually good at, right? The things that we've been doing. And I don't think that technology is the big threat here. I think it's our habits. That's the big threat, because we're humans. Now, if you are afraid of something, like, you can't lead what you don't understand, and you can't scale what people fear. And a really good antidote to fear is knowledge. And this is what you really need to think about. You need to demystify AI and get people to understand that this is really about augmenting human capability. It's about working smarter. It's going to require us to shift our mindset quite a bit. So what you really want to start doing is to establish curiosity. And I see so many great initiatives now out there from organizations like promptathons, or we have these tips, tricks, battles on AI, or different sessions where you have learning sessions, tricks, tricks, battles, or call it whatever you want. But remember, this is not just events. It's about establishing continuous learning loops in the organization. And promote the mindset that this is actually like, it's the new normal, collaborating with AI. So demystify it and establish it as the new way of working. And once you start understanding AI, something happens as a leader, because then you know this is not just about productivity hacks. This is the duality of leadership, because on one hand, this is about everyday efficiency. But here's my take on it. Like every organization out there, everyone will start looking at the left side, right? How can we actually become more efficient? Internally, can we make things more effective? How we search for content, take meeting notes, or how we create documentation, how we do things internally, but also the customer facing, our customer support, or however we work towards our customers. You have to do that. If you don't do that, your competitive advantage will be destroyed, literally. But on the other hand, here's the interesting thing, because you don't just want to use AI for incremental improvements. You want to take a step back, because now is the timing for game changers, to understand how can we actually do something in our industry that puts us in a totally different position. To be bold, to reinvent, to have a culture of experimentation where it's not just about how do we do things better, faster, taking a step back, are we actually doing the right things at all? And this is what I start seeing, that game changers are coming. And how do you do that? How do you actually create a culture where people can experiment? Well, that's the next big thing. You need to shape up your transformative leadership. This is not just being transactional, do this, get that, etc. We need to step up, because you need to, I would say, you need to paint up this compelling picture of the future. But you also have to coach people through resistance, fear, fatigue, and from uncertainty. And that's the thing with transformative leadership. Really dig into that, because you have to inspire people, motivate people, because they're not just sitting out there and longing for new systems and tools. You want to engage them, right? So you don't want to talk, this is my biggest lessons learned from all my years is that we tend to see this as a tech project. So we go to IT and say, please roll out AI, do some training sessions, and we're good to go. That's a costful mistake. So please don't go that path. AI is the enabler, but as a transformative leader, you have to shift how you're talking. It's not that, yeah, we're going to launch Copilot, everyone, right? That's probably going to solve quite a lot, but you really want to emphasize why you are doing this and why you believe in it. And don't push people to change. You want to pull them towards purpose, towards meaning. Now it's really tricky and complex, but that's where the magic actually happens. So shape that up. Sometimes we need other kinds of leadership, but for these complex change where I would say the resistance is mainly not intellectual, but because people understand this, people can see that this is great, we can save so much time and money. The resistance is emotional. We understand, but it's emotional. So you cannot just tell people. You have to really involve them and be really curious about that resistance to get people to change the way they're working. So the third key I want to present is also about having this architecture of readiness, and that's quite a big area to talk about. But without the right foundations, AI won't scale. So you have to look at things like the quality of your data, the infrastructure, and the governance. And from what I'm seeing, a lot of organizations are establishing this, I call it the engine room. Some call it the center of excellence for AI. But you really need to get people working on this cross-functionally in your organization to coordinate your initiatives, but balance that coordination of initiatives, adoptions, and sessions with experimentation. But without this coordination, you will have scattered initiatives, and that's not the right approach, right? So, you need to set a really robust foundation to get AI to scale in the best possible way. Now, with that said, just do something, right? That's also a good approach, because you need to identify those quick wins. Don't do these super long pre-studies. Be a bit more agile towards this, because this is also a really, really good way to tackle resistance. And you want to find these, these low risk and high pain areas, like that affects a lot of people in your organization. Something simple, but something that people really can relate to. Because what happens is that they will say, wow, where else can we implement this? Like, can we do this in these areas as well? And then you're going to build a little momentum. And you want to showcase this across the organization and really involve everyone as much as you can into this. And I know a big obstacle here is also about, oh, it says auto power off here. Is that something that it's going to be a challenge? But yeah, I hope it doesn't just shuts everything down, right? Yeah. But you want to find those success stories and you want to share them with your organization, and you want to encourage people to be part of it. And that's the thing, because most of the things that we're going to change, AI is the enabler, but who knows best about these processes? It's the people working out there in the organization. They know their own pain points. So that's where the upskilling comes in, and the curiosity of people as well. But I think my biggest take on it is, as leaders, and if you are running an organization, you really need to take full responsibility. So what do we mean with that? That's actually, well, it kind of sums up, but that is to design AI to augment humans, to really see that it says this is a game changer for the future. And with that responsibility also comes, of course, without saying it, you have to start with yourself as well. Be curious, learn from other organizations, reach out there, search for inspiration, learn for mistakes or fuck ups, everything. You really want to understand how to best approach this, right? And maybe you should establish them like fuck up Fridays every now and then with your organization to share your lessons learned. Like establish that psychological safety, that it's okay to test and fail, right? But we do it together. And I would say, of course, transparency, accountability. You want to protect integrity, this bias and discrimination. Like, we have to really monitor this and talk about, when do we use AI? How do we use AI? And really put that human first design, because I see AI as really something that, well, from two perspectives. A lot of people that I work with, or a lot of people that I meet when I drive these transformation journeys, right, they struggle quite a lot, right? They go to jobs that they don't really feel emotionally engaged in, right? But they suck up, they do it. This is really about, we have an opportunity here. We have a real opportunity to rethink work. Now, in a short perspective, this is going to be taking a step back, being those conductors, working together, coordinating AI agents. But I think in the future, it's going to be about reinventing what it means to be human. Because what happens once AI starts to innovate by itself, or starts replacing a lot more of the functions or roles in an organization. I'm not going to go that path now. Let's talk about co-pilots. I'll bring it back a little bit. But I think the responsibility comes with, how can I make sure, starting with myself and the people around me and my organization and my customers, of course, how do we use this to both make sure that we can be really high performing, right? Doing the right things right, establish digital literacy and collaborative skills. But it's not just being a high performer, it's also about catering for energy and well-being. So have that loop in mind. How do we make people really feel that they have energy and well-being, and that they can channel that in the best possible way to become high performers? That's where the magic really happens. And this amazes me, but ironically, the more advanced that AI becomes, the more important human skills becomes. And I can see this everywhere. And I was really amazed when I read this World Economic Forum, and they said, okay, these are the core skills for 2030. And I was like, okay, here we go. It's going to be AI, digital literacy. And of course, that's in there. But if you zoom in to the core skills of 2030, this really touched me. Because what it's about having curiosity and lifelong learning. It's about empathy, active listening, right? Fostering that psychological safety. It's about creative, analytical thinking. It's about resilience, flexibility, and agility. It's about motivation and self-awareness. Now, if I could give myself just one tip to the younger version of myself, that would be to start self-reflecting a lot earlier and just don't go. But all of these things, it's really what I say, it's about being human. So if you want to build an organization that is sustainable for the future, you need to build these skills into your people. So I want to say it once again, don't push people through change, pull them towards purpose and meaning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gustav.
Thank you.
I think you talked so you really held your time here.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
You told me about a water gun or something.
Or tackle you off stage, right? So I have a question.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Yeah.
I maybe not have an answer, but I'll try.
So the bullet 4, the quick wins.
Yeah.
I know that there are certainly people here and online that would love your tips on how to get started. Do you because you work with a lot of customers, a lot of different organizations.
Yeah.
Do you have examples of quick wins that would, get you started?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I think a lot of organizations out there, they have not yet really empowered their employees by enabling things like Copilot, or if you use another platform, just things, all right? So what happens is that, well, people, they bring their own AI, right? And they start, entering sensitive data into those. So people think like, nah, we're going to wait with Copilot. But what happens is they are actually not really compliant, and you want to really tackle that. But if you start enabling things like Copilot, a really good quick win for me was meeting notes. Man, is that a game changer for me and the people I work with, like meeting notes. And not just getting meeting notes, but seeing like how that can do it so much better than we, and how can propose actions. So that's it's a quick win to showcase like how we can make meetings much more effective, so we can focus on the human part. Which
is also part of being more inclusive, right? And definitely. That's also meaning and also purpose of the why, right?
Yeah.
So do you have one more question, and let's make sure that we repeat it also for our audience online.
Yeah.
So in my organization, we are taking the route of making small experimentations, trying it out, enabling Copilot, but we don't have a grand goal.
No.
What is that, and how do you...
So what is a grand goal, and how do you define it? In your organization, you're experimenting. And here's the thing. I would say that kind of goal is not the same for every organization. I would say the only goals that really matters for you is where you want to position yourself as a company and as an organization. Like, what is that shift that you want to do in how you establish relationship with your clients or customer, what positions in your market you want? Because in my opinion, these are the kind of only goals that matters. Like, collaboration is not a goal. That's just the capability. So you want to find, it's basically your strategic goals. But the trick is here. My mistake that I have done is that I had this stupid belief that everyone would be engaged in the company goals, right? Here we go, right? Everyone, these are the values, this is the vision, let's go. That's not the case. Like, you want to get people emotionally engaged, they have to spark their own meaning towards that goal. And that's where it gets transformative, that you have to meet people with really, individual care and try to figure out what sparks them. So maybe that answers the question, but it's not a strict answer to like what is the goal, but...
With AI, do you suggest that we define a goal as a company, or are we...
You define the vision for your company is the vision for your company. You have a strategy. AI is going to amplify that and help you achieve that. But of course, specifically for AI, you should have some goals that you can monitor to make sure that you approach the right way. And that could go for efficiency. That could go for power of innovation, or that could also go for employee satisfaction and loyalty. So there's a lot of things in there. Great.
And luckily, we're going to have a whole section on the agenda after lunch on ROI, how to measure your success, and what goals you as an organization can put when you start implementing and using AI. So with that, huge thank you to Gustav. Me, for sure, I'm going to start being even more curious.
That's great.
That's what I'm taking with me. So, thank you. And you will also stick around.
Yeah, I will stick around.
You will stick around, right?
Thank you very much, and people online as well.